You there?
Introducing Passport Bros, your ultimate travel companion. Download the app for free and embark on a journey where your adventures not only become unforgettable memories, but also opportunities to earn. With Passport Bros, your travel content is more than just photos and videos. It's your ticket to a fully monetizable network of like-minded adventurers. Imagine making money from your travel stories. Post videos, share your experiences, and let the world be a part of your journey. But that's not all. Connect with travelers from around the globe, join co-ed groups, and make lasting friendships, perhaps even with foreign women who share your passion for exploration. And here's the best part. Store your earnings securely in your Passport Bros wallet. No hassle, no worries. Just seamless transactions wherever your travels take you. Looking for the best local experiences? Passport Bros has got you covered. Get personalized recommendations for tour guides, rentals, and the hottest clubs in town. Did we mention the app is absolutely free to download? That's right. Your passport to a world of adventure is just a click away. And here's the cherry on top. With Passport Bros, you can make money while exploring new places. Turn your passion for travel into a source of income, right from your mobile device. So, what are you waiting for? Download Passport Bros now, share your journey, connect with fellow explorers, and let the adventure begin.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
All right, man. We are live. Welcome, family, to another show. It is your man BMT in the building, and we got a great show lined up for you guys today, man. We're gonna be talking to my man Thomas Brown in a moment. He's out there in Albania, and we're gonna be having some discussions actually about the dark side of Albania. But before we bring him on, I know you guys have been seeing some shows lately, podcasts, rather, the Bros podcast. I want to thank everybody that's came on to the show thus far. Really interesting podcast that we're doing here in Thailand. We got a lot more coming for you guys. We're going to be interviewing all types of different guests, Thai women, Russian women, probably some African women. So it's going to be lit. So make sure to tune in to Bros podcast. We just dropped one today with my man Obstacles and Opportunities. So make sure to tune in to the podcast. We got a whole lot more coming for you guys. All right. So let me go ahead and bring on today's repeated guest, my man Thomas Brown. What's going on?
What's up,
good,
man?
My man?
I mean,
it's been a minute. We was rocking out for quite some time when I was in DR, man. But you got ghost on me. What's good with you?
Man, I had to go to. I did a group trip for people in Italy, so I had to take some of my friends to Italy for like a week and a half. We went and did that trip. And we did like Rome. We did Rome, Lake Como, Milan, and Pisa. And then my brother last week flew out to Istanbul, the one place I hate to be, to get his hair transplant. So I had to go like hang out with him. And he was laughing because I was like looking over my shoulder, like, yo, the mafia looking for me.
Oh, wow.
He was laughing, but my brother's he's a Navy SEAL, ex-Navy SEAL, so he sees life a little differently than I do. He feels like he can handle any situation. I don't necessarily approach it the same way he does. I don't have his training,
Facts.
That's where I've been. That's why I've been gone.
Yeah, a lot of brothers be going out there for the transplants. Did everything go well with it?
Yeah, it was very interesting to see. Like, they did it really fast. Like, he went in one day, they had him in there for 8 hours. He came back, and my brother's half Thai, but you could see more of the Thai in him. So he's got the straighter hair, and he had grown his hair out into like a mullet. But he was balding here. But if you know special force guys, they're like that. The operators, they're like that. So when he came back, it was all shaved, and then you could see where they had re-put in his hairline, and it was very interesting. They took 8 hours. They literally pull each strand out and replace it. It was wild.
Okay.
It was wild.
Okay.
But he doesn't travel like I do. So once he got out here, he got the bug. Even in Istanbul, he's like, yo, I need to do more traveling. So I think next month we're going to be out there. So that's why I was talking to you. I might be able to come say what's up because I got to finish my citizenship paperwork so me and my brother can have dual citizenship.
That's right, because you have Thai, right?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Nice,
So
man.
I didn't know. My brother was born before me, so he was actually born in Thailand. So his is easy. Mine is a pain. Like the Cali consulate has to sign it, has to be stamped by DC. Then I have to go to Thailand to get the passport.
Okay.
But if just a side note, if anyone wants to know why this is something I'm willing to pursue, first of all, we don't really know what the financial landscape is going to look like after Trump. I think we don't really know, and I don't really want to play the game. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
We were on the brink, so I don't want to play the game. So I got my bank account out here in Europe, but it's still kind of Western. Thailand is part of BRICS, so I'm not
I didn't know that.
Yeah, I'm not saying I think BRICS is better, but I do think if there's a collapse or a problem, if there's a problem with SWIFT, it's going to be all of Western world. So if you have money in BRICS, you can just switch to that and you're fine. It's going to be different stuff. You're going to be dealing with Africa, Saudi, all those types of things, mainly for your goods. But that's just my way. Like my brother has 2.5 years of food storage because he's seen so much shit in war. So much stuff in war that, that's my way of having a backup plan is I want currency in different countries.
That's a good backup plan.
But with the citizenship, you probably know, I get free healthcare out there. I get free education out there. I can do freehold. So I can buy any property I want and open any business that I want there just with citizenship. And it costs me $0 because my mom's Thai. Citizenship by investment there is what, 300,000 right now? So my mom was like, why do you guys want this so bad? I'm like, you're saving us $300,000 by being Thai. She's like, okay, I get it, you know?
Yeah, that's going to save y'all a lot of hurdles that a lot of guys have to go through with buying properties and owning businesses like 50-something%. And there's a lot of hurdles to it, but that's a good thing that you're doing that.
Well, and if your partner decides to go rogue on you, they own everything there.
Yeah, they have some little ways, but I think it's nothing like being if you Thai, if you're a natural citizen. I mean, you good to go. You got the best of both worlds.
Plus that passport has not a lot, but a few places that I can go visa free that the U.S. cannot.
Talking about in Asia.
Yeah, but like let's say we have some political unrest because all of a sudden these tariffs. Let's say somebody just decides that they don't like it, and the world decides that they don't like America. Our passport becomes our enemy at that point, right?
I sure hope not, but yeah, that could be. I was wondering about that. I was like, yeah, we might get a little pushback from all these, deportations and tariffs.
I'm not worried because we're too strong. Like they need us too much, and he's leveraging that. But if you get a rogue or you get something go on and we're not liked, then our passport becomes our enemy. I want to just say, boom, I'm a Thai citizen now. Do you see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know cats with dual, two passports. They'd be Jamaican, they might whip out their Jamaican passport, or they, Caribbean passport, stuff like that. So it's always a benefit to having more than one passport. And I know in some cases you can buy in certain countries your passport, but it's always kind of like a steep price 9 times out of 10.
It's up there. And the places I like Greece used to be 250 grand, it's 500,000 now. But I have a hack for that. If you guys meet a girl and you want like a real relationship with her, like places like Brazil, you can go and have the baby in Brazil and they will get citizenship in Brazil plus their blood for citizenship.
Oh, yeah. I got hit with that by a Brazilian female. Actually, it was a friend of mine who put me on to her cousin who wanted to do like some type of situation where I get citizenship in Brazil, she gets citizenship in America.
Kind of big. That's kind of a big thing, though, bro. Citizenship.
I mean, that was like during COVID. So
yeah,
things have changed drastically now. I don't even know how that's going to work with Trump in office.
I don't dislike that guy. So
I mean, I don't dislike or like Trump or any politician. I'm just not like I guess I'm not gonna say I'm super well read, but when people talk politics, I'm like, if you haven't read Claude Anderson's books, don't talk to me about politics because you don't know. You know what I'm saying? It's like the Bible of politics if you don't read Claude Anderson's group economics book. So I just be like, hey, okay, you're gonna regurgitate what you heard on Fox and the TV and all that bullshit. But if you don't have a general understanding of how economics and politics work, it's like whatever. You know what I'm saying? Because
or if they have a business of their own that's pretty large, they have to deal with it real time, so they understand a little bit.
Yeah. But the thing of it's still like, even with a business, it's like the way politics really works, man, is ran by different groups, different powerful groups.
Yeah.
Secret basically, right now, the Germanic people are running the United States because the United States can be on lease. But like I said, I don't even want to go deep into that because motherfuckers is just so invested in personalities. They invested more in personalities than the actual, power behind
it's even more than that. It's more than that in our community. I think we have an epidemic of people wanting to either clout chase or prop themselves up at any cost, which I don't even know why. Like I don't know why it's such a big deal. But
it's
anyway,
crazy because I mean, just look at the proof is in the pudding. You got a South African with way more power than he should have right now, in my opinion. In the whole different country, the United States, the most powerful country in the world.
I love Elon too, though.
Yeah. Well,
all right, man. If you want to ask me some questions,
the thing about it is like I always just have more of a respect for a man that made it out of the mud himself. Like I respect Elon's dad more than I respect Elon, possibly. Because
I want to say that.
Let me tell you something. If you give the average black man $100 million and just a little guidance, it ain't too hard to make something shake, bro. You know what I'm saying? It's like
I'm not sure about that, man. I think that
I am. I'm really. I don't give too much credence to a person that inherits money to a person who made it on their own themselves. I just don't. It's like
I don't know.
I think we give too much credit to people that was born with wealth. Because if you gave me $1 million, I can turn that bitch into 10. I swear to God, I could.
Yeah, but I don't think the mega
especially with all the little back end deals that them Europeans and white folk be doing on the low. You know what I'm saying? Like them little policies and shit that the government got to buy so many thumbnails from your ass, from your company. Like they be doing
lobbying,
the
lobbying.
Shit. You know what I'm saying? They be doing a lot of little slick shit.
True. I believe that someone could take 1 to 10, but I think to take 1 to 1 billion, they're probably going to have to come from money.
Yeah, for sure.
So I think in order to have billionaires and super rich, they're going to have to come from money. Kind of like a person whose dad was a professional athlete before they got a little bit easier. Like Steph Curry, he bypassed a lot of stuff because he kind of just grew up with probably the pro level understanding. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
So I can't say anything because if I have a kid, I'm definitely blessing him. I don't really care what anybody thinks about that. If he comes up with a good idea and he needs an investor, I'm going to be the one.
Yeah. I think what did they give Jeff? Jeff dad gave him like what, $250,000, $250,000 back in the 90s or something like that.
Yeah,
that's a good start.
I can't say anything because if it was me, I'm going to do the same thing. If I'm the dad, I'm going to give him the money. So I don't care.
It's like what Mark Cuban said about Facebook and Mark Zuckerberg. It was just like, listen, there were other social networks already out. You had Black Planet. You had other little. It's just that they was able to raise a shit ton of money. Like that's what it really is, the community that he comes from. Because I mean, Facebook didn't reinvent the wheel. It's a social network.
He does admit
MySpace.
He does admit that MySpace made a misstep. Otherwise, he wouldn't be there.
Yeah. I don't know what happened with MySpace, man. I have no idea.
Well, they didn't.
It was the VCs that crushed it, I think.
No, they didn't have the infrastructure to grow as fast as they could. So the people didn't like the lag times and the issues. He saw that and he fixed that before it happened with him. And so MySpace couldn't keep up with it. And then the people started disliking it. And that is how we operate, you know?
Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing when what was it called? Vine came out with the lives, or was Vine or Periscope? It was something like that came out with the lives. Now you see that every social network adjusts real quick. You make that adjustment before they lose their audience, right? Like TikTok, they came out and then everybody started doing reels. Now it's real. They just changed the name.
Yeah.
You know, Periscope came out with the live app. Now everybody doing, you know, every social network has a live.
Yeah.
Including Passport Bros app. We got live too. All right, man. So we got 4 or 3 people in the room. Guys, do me a favor, make sure you hit that like button. Now you hit me. I was kind of shocked, you know, you hit me, you said, man, the dark side of Albania. I'm just like, okay, what's going on with that, man? You know, what you've been uncovering? Well, first off, just give us a little, people who don't know you, like just give us a little tiny, you know, quick background on how you got to Albania in the first place.
Well, I mean, I was an American, very patriotic about America, did everything right. I mean, I worked with the right people. I even was working with a couple billionaires, taught me a lot of stuff, made a crap load of money, lived that flashy lifestyle. And then I went and got my teeth done in Turkey. And it was supposed to be just like a little week and a half, 2.5 week trip, turned into 3 months. And I came back and, well, along the trip, I just started realizing, I'm like, I'm paying $100 a night for hotels. Internationally, those are actually decent hotels. In America, they are crap hotels. But I was paying $100 a night and, you know, I'm getting free internet, free cable. I'm encouraged to throw my linens on the floor, beautiful bathroom, hot tubs, all this stuff. And I was spending less than I was paying for my townhouse monthly. And I started being like, this isn't, I'm living out here. If it did this in America, this would be 10 grand, you know? So I started being like, wow. And I was even in Europe where it's not super cheap. And then I noticed that I was like, well, I'm on vacation. I'm going to eat what I want to eat. And I ate everything I could find. And when I went home, I had lost like 18 pounds. And I was like, hold up, you know, what's going on? And then the longer I was out there each month that I paid that $3,500 note on the house, it was like someone stuck a dagger in me. And I was just like, wow, I'm paying more than I'm out here and I'm not even using that. And that's a lot of money, right? And then I had 3 cars and they were not cheap cars. I had an AMG GT, it was an older one. And then I had an i8 and I had my S550. Those payments weren't small. Plus the what do you say? The insurance, plus the whatever, right? And I'm paying all these things while I'm gone. So I went back and just fiscally, I thought something's got to change. And I did start thinking, like, have you been around Europe? Well, you're in Thailand now. It is absolutely pointless to have a car in Thailand. Absolutely pointless.
Yo, you know what's so funny today? It's funny you say that, man, because I just saw a Bentley today on my little street, turning on my street. And I'm just like, why? You know, yeah. I understand, but I don't, you know, I'm like, really? I mean, I guess, you know, I'm gonna fly right around you in my little scooter though. So, but
yeah. Well, and then Europe, you know, those cars I had were pretty big. S550 is pretty big. An AMG GT is pretty big. And when I was running around with my little bro in Portugal, I was telling him we couldn't even get my Mercedes up this street. We couldn't even drive it up this street. I would be knocking off everybody's mirrors and stuff. And I was like, it doesn't even make sense. So my mind had shifted. And I noticed I didn't miss the car. So when I didn't miss the cars, I started saying, why am I paying these crazy notes? The i8 note was like $2,200. Do you know what I'm saying? So I was looking at it saying, what am I doing? Like, why am I doing this? So then I get back.
Yeah, that passport, bro, realization.
Yeah. And I was just like, nobody cared internationally. They care in America, but no one cared internationally. And the girls in America that would care are the kind of girls I don't want. So I was like, what am I doing? Then it hit me more that I had took an early retirement. So now I'm doing the math. so I did the math, and I was paying about $12,500 a month for my lifestyle. Okay.
Mhm.
And I had 3 cars, but now with this new realization, I'm like, I can't even drive the 3 cars. These notes are outrageous. You know what the insurance is on an i8, an AMG GT? You know the insurance on that? It's outrageous. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
And so I was like, what am I doing? Like, why? And so that was eating at me. And then when I knew it really changed was my boys, they roll deep, right? And so one of my boys, he's like an ex-mafia guy, actually. And he's got weird things, like he won't sit with his back to a door, and he's still got all these weird things from that. But he owns a company that resells parts to AutoZone and all of those guys, right? So he goes and gets like semi loads of these, and he bought a new S600 or an S65. He bought a new one. Ticket was $235,000 for a Mercedes. And back in the day, I would have low key been a little jealous, like, dang, yo, I need to be keeping up with my boy. But I sat there and looked at that, and I was like, that's a whole villa in Bali I could have bought. I had just shifted, and I knew, I was like, okay, I'm different now. But the thing that pushed me over the top was that day that he showed off his car. He he took us all to Denny's because we gotten out of the cigar lounge at like 2 a.m. Denny's was the only thing open. And I ate a Moons Over my hammy. And I remember thinking, this is so greasy, right? Well, I go home. We get home at like 3 o'clock. I lay down and I just jolted awake, and I puked so projectile on the walls and stuff in my bedroom, my bathroom, that's what pushed me over the top. I was like, if I'm literally poisoning myself with the food here in America, I just don't love myself. If I have the means to not be there, I don't love myself if I'm putting up with this for attention. Do you know what I'm saying? And it wasn't long after that, a week or 2 after that, I literally sold everything. And what I didn't sell, I gave away. I gave away a 21-foot truck to this baddie. She loved it, man, just to get out of there. And I left. And I haven't been back.
Gave it away? Oh, shit. Okay.
Not everything.
You know what? You know what's funny? I think a lot of guys that have achieved success in America once they start traveling, because I went through the exact same thing you went through. It's funny you say you got sick, because when I visited America for like a week, and when I was in the airport, it was a woman that had like some barbecue ribs. She was sitting next to me, and just the smell made me sick.
Yep. Yeah,
I'm like, what is that? I'm like, why does it smell like? The smell was so strong, but I haven't smelled that strong chemical flavored barbecue in so long, right?
Yeah.
And it's funny because I basically gave my car away too. When I was living in Colombia, and I came back to America just to pretty much sell my car. So I was in America for like maybe 2-3 days. And it was a young cat, and I was just like, you know what? He was trying to pitch in the bargain. I said, hey man, just give me this for it.
Yeah.
Just give me, like, you know what I'm saying? That's literally half of what I paid for it. And the car wasn't even 6 months old.
Yeah.
So I was just like,
but it's a liability though. It's a monthly liability.
You know why? Because I was paying for it to be I got family, but for me, it's like I rather just pay for storage, right?
Yeah.
And they were going up like every other month. They was going up and shit. I'm just like, nah, let me just sell it. I'm not about to keep paying for car park storage and stuff like that.
Plus the translation to wherever you're at kind of makes up for it. Like, because my brother, he was surprised in Istanbul that I was frugal. And he's like, you've never been like this. And I was like, when you live in a place like Albania, where your cell phone bill for unlimited is only $16, when you go to the shisha shop and you spend $50, you realize that you just spent 4 months of your cell phone bill. It's different. Like in America, my cell phone bill was always a couple $100, so whatever. And so it's just interesting how I look at things now, and I'm like, oh, not that I can't afford it, but it doesn't make sense. Like you can see when you're being frivolous. You can see when you're doing stuff you really don't need to do. You know what I'm saying?
All right, I got a question here. I don't know if you want to. Welcome to answer it. If you don't, the guest said he made tons of money. What's the most money he ever made in a year? This is from
that TikTok guy that goes around asking all that.
Right. That's true. That is true.
I'm not gonna say the number, but it's definitely been in the millions in 1 year.
Okay, nice.
On one sale, actually.
Nice.
The commission on one sale, I should say.
Dope.
I was a money broker, and they give you points, what we call them points. So if I take like, let's say you want to build a Hilton hotel, okay, and you want it to be 237 keys. Now I'm using their jargon. That would mean 237 rooms. And the build was $30 million. That would probably be more around a $50 million build in the States. And I bring a guy or a firm or a VC, venture capitalist, to pay for that. I negotiate points in there saying, hey, I put you guys together. You needed the money. You needed the business, right? You needed the business to put the money in. So I would say I want 1 point, 2 points, 4 points, whatever. On a deal that big, you're never getting 1 point. If you can get 1 point on a deal like that, mentor me, because that would mean I get 1% of that sale, and 1% of 30 million is a very nice number, right? Mm-hmm. So I think I got like a quarter to 0.5% on deals like that. But one of the biggest deals I did was $400 million deal, and I did not get 1 point. I did not get a quarter of a point either, but I did very, 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 very good on the deal.
Oh, nice. Okay.
But people don't know the back end of it, like the capital gains tax and tax brackets and all these games you got to play with it. You only have a certain amount of time. Otherwise, it can be up to 42% of it that you have to give Uncle Sam, just like that. And so it's tough. America's tough, and it follows you around the world. I'm dealing with it here.
Yeah. It's going to be interesting what's going to shake up out of these taxes in the next couple of years with the,
I hope that happens. Boy, you take income tax away, I'm going to be a happy man. I'm going to be like, yeah, keep my money.
Yeah, I think everybody will. I mean, it's still labeled as unconstitutional. Taxes are supposed to be levied for times of war. Not all the time. They were supposed to get rid of it after the war. I think it was World War II or some shit, but of course they kept it.
The richest countries in the world don't have income tax. The richest ones, Qatar, UAE. Like, I'm like, dude, yes, let's go that direction. Let's go that direction.
Yes, we should never. The American citizens should have never accepted that. That was a misnomer that somebody could just come and take money right
we
after
used to have
paycheck.
wars. Yeah, we used to have wars over that.
Right, exactly. Well, exactly. As a matter of fact, that was the formation of the United States. That was because of taxes.
Yeah.
All right, man. So what's going on in Albania, bro? Like, is the honeymoon phase over, or what's going on?
Maybe, and I don't even want to accept that, right? Maybe. I just noticed.
Hold on now for the audience who haven't, we were doing shows. You was repping up Albania like a mug.
Right.
And hold on, don't feel bad, Thomas, because I got a lot of slack for repping up Colombia so much. And when I said that, maybe other places were better, they roasted me for months. Right. Like, man, you the Colombian guy. What happened, man? You saying this, saying that? I was like, bro, I've been here for a couple of years now. I'm like, it has some issues. You know what I'm saying? So what's going on with Albania?
Well, I started noticing. At first, I noticed opportunity. I was like, yo, I'm gonna make $1 billion here, is what I was thinking, because they didn't have addresses, they didn't have Amazon. I was like, I can make all this stuff here. I'll put 10 years in. I'll take a 9-figure exit. Let's do it. Then I started getting weird resistance, right, and stuff I couldn't understand. So there was a pretty good real estate deal that I had gotten into. And the realtor straight up said, we're going to have to figure out how to get around the mafia. Like, he straight up says it, right? And I was like, damn. Okay, so we figure out a way to kind of get around the mafia, and it didn't work. I still had a visitor. That was like, maybe you shouldn't do this business. And that was all I needed to hear. I know what that meant, right? So I was like, oh, damn. Like, that's big, right?
Was it, hold on. Like, let's just give us a little. So was it like a easygoing visit, or was it like a one time you like it was just
they're slick.
Okay.
They say it without saying it, but you know what they're saying. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? They just pretty much let me know this you don't belong here, bro.
And it's always a little scarier with an accent, right? So they probably had that accent with it too.
You do not belong here. I was like, I got it. Bet rock. I get it. Yeah, well, the influence, and we're going to use the word organization so you don't have YouTube problems.
Right. Okay.
The organization has a little bit more influence than I really thought it did here.
Mm-hmm.
But in a weird sort of way, I'm better off because I actually am friends with some of them, and I didn't know that I was. My realtor kind of tried to say that because he's like, the building you live in and where you live is considered money.
Territory. Okay.
No, it's just considered nice, right? And so he's like, you're probably going to be around a bunch of them. And I am. I didn't know. I'm around a lot of them. And I had made friends with one on accident, or I got a good name with them on accident. I don't know if you guys know, I told you the story of that gypsy kid that stole the guy's wallet that was with us. And he tried to run off, and I went to grab his arm, and I missed, and my hand slid up and got his throat. And I thought, oh, I'm in trouble because I was used to America. Well, the wallet that he took was a guy from the organization. So they were like, we like this guy. So I have a little bit of, I can get away with a little bit, but I'm not messing with it, if that makes sense. So, and also so that people aren't overly scared. As a foreigner and an American here, you're very revered. They very much like you. But the things you don't want to do, heavily around the women, you got to watch your P's and Q's. You have to be hyper aware. If you see a girl by herself and you're chatting with her, they don't say bad things. They don't like to say bad things. They don't. They'll be more quiet or more evasive instead of saying no or saying you can't talk to me or I have a boyfriend. They won't do that. But she will guide you, and you need to go with that. And I can kind of see some of the passport bros or some of the, the guys you see me calling out on there all the time. I think here they would have a lot of trouble. I think they would have a lot of trouble. And I mean very dangerous trouble. Because even I made a mistake. I was sitting with my buddy, Arturo, and to the left there was a girl, and her boyfriend was on the other side, and I didn't see him. And I was just talking to her, and she was like, yeah, no. And she was trying to lead me away from talking to her. And it looks a little bit like they're being uninterested or they're being rude, but they're really protecting you. And I think if people understand that they're protecting you, they won't try to game. If you keep gaming, you'll get slapped, literally. And I've seen it happen.
Hold on real quick. Shout out to my man. Shout out to my man. One up for Charles with a $4.99 super chat. He says we are live. BMT. Appreciate that, man.
Hey,
shout out to you. Now hold on. You saying somebody gets slow? What's going on?
Slap you. They slap here.
Who will slap you?
The guy.
Okay.
So I saw it happen. So there was a guy. He goes to my gym. We're actually friends, and it's really crazy because to them this is very normal. To me, I'm like, ooh, hold up, right? He's telling me, he's talking to me about what happened after I saw it in the hot tub with me, and I'm like, yo, this is normal to you guys, right? So he's sitting at the table with his two sisters and a girl, and if you've seen the girls here, I get it. I see why you want to talk to them because they are stunning, like mesmerizing. So some foreigners were, thought they were ladies' men or whatever, and they sent. This is even how crazy this was. They sent the waitress over to try and get the attention of the girls for them, like to send them a note, right? Well, the guy sees that as disrespect to his table. Things go through me. Do you see what I'm saying? So he sent away the waiter. The waiter knew. Waiter leaves. And then he goes to the other guys. He's like, hey, come here. The guy comes, and he goes, why are you talking to my sister? And when the guy opened his mouth, bow! In front of everybody. Not one person in the place flinched. Not one person. Everybody knew what happened. And I was like, whoa. Whoa. Like, you do not. And I was asking him when the hot tub, I was like, why did you do that? And he goes, that's disrespectful. They find that disrespectful. You don't talk to my sister. You don't talk to my cousin. You don't talk to any girl that's with me without my permission. Period. I already can see Pookies right now being like, oh, yeah, let me see them do that to me. They will. And that's what I hate. I don't know if you saw on your page, I had this back and forth with a guy, and I told him, I was like, don't come here, man. And I wasn't trying to tell him, I wasn't gatekeeping. I was like, bro, I'm trying to save your life here. Like, this is different, bro. Do you know what I'm saying? I've seen on the news once every couple weeks, someone gets shot over someone talking to their chick on the news. And like the dude got up on the news, he gets up, leaves the guy there talking to the girl, gets up and walks over to his car, gets his strap and walks back, no words. And here's the part that's dangerous. They're willing to go to jail for it. We think that they're not. They're willing to go to jail for it. To them, that is, the disrespect is the highest fallacy you can do.
Okay, I want to mention this right here. DMR says, I'm never going there. It's too dangerous for brothers. Is it like what do you think about that comment? Is it, they're not really cool with the brothers dating the women there? Or?
The women are fantastic. Like I can't believe how well spoken and manners and things they have in this type of culture. And obviously it's probably not it's probably not 100%, right? It's kind of 50-50 here. But I would say color is an issue when it comes to marriage. And it's not her or the younger generation, it's the old heads. The old heads have an issue with it. And kind of in America too, anything I've faced racist in America was always like an older person, right? But the problem here is that the community opinion is like number one. So like I've already we were trying to sign this influencer and she had like 60,000 followers or something. We're trying to sign her and she understood what we were presenting her. But when she left, even out of jealousy, the people spoke bad on us in the business and she wouldn't do the deal. So the community is very heavy on them. And unfortunately, it doesn't always turn out to be helpful, if that makes sense. But as a brother, no, I don't think it's an issue. If you're an American brother, for sure, it's not an issue. And if you want the experience and you want the girls and you want to meet the baddest girls, go to Kosovo. Kosovo, they love us. They have a statue of Bill Clinton there and they have American flags everywhere. And they're very open to brothers there, if that's what you want. And as much as highly as I talk about the beauty of the girls here, they're more beautiful there. Do you know what I'm saying?
I had a comment from Motivational Movement says, sir, if color isn't an issue to marriage, they are not fantastic. Side.
Well, I mean, from where I'm at, the girls struggle with it. Like, they're so traditional that when they feel for you, that's very strong. Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like, we're kind of dealing with that at the gym right now. Like there's a girl there that me and her, man, we're not even in anything romantic, but we just have that thing. Like we just love the crap out of each other. And, they squashed it. They didn't like that. And I noticed when I would talk to her, the whole gym would stop. All the men would stop and just watch us. The men they're not cool with it, man. And it wouldn't have been just me. I don't know if it would have been just me either. I think it's just any foreigner. Does that make sense?
They make garden basically.
Yeah, and I've tried to adjust to it a little bit. I'm like, look, if it's your sister, your mom, your cousin, whatever, it's cool. But a girl you don't know, you know, and some of them, like, and you should hear her. She's mad. She's like, I don't care. I don't care what they think. I don't care. And I'm more like, well, you say that. But if we ever really got in a relationship, I don't think you could deal with it. Like, I'm used to it. Like, we're used to it, you know? But I was like, you say that. Because, like, one girl here, the things that went the best with her, she was very responsive. And I was like, dang, this is really good and just stupid gorgeous. And what I found out was she had left years ago and she lives in Italy. She came back because her father had died a year ago and she's taking care of her mom. So she's more worldly. Because I noticed she doesn't flinch. She doesn't care at all when we're out. She doesn't care if anybody thinks anything or says anything. I do. But no one's even looking either. It's just me. You know what I'm saying?
Okay. So hold on, Thomas. So you was trying to get, you was trying to do business out there. And that was put on pretty much hold or pause by, the M boys. And then, they make gardener women. So is Albania like a no-go zone for passport bros?
I think you got to be patient.
Mm-hmm.
I think it depends on your because I've had some boys come out here and they're not patient enough. Because it's 50-50. What I mean by that is 50-50. Half of them, they're not going to like you. The other half, completely okay with you. Completely. Almost better than we're used to. Almost a richer relationship, a more giving relationship, a more open relationship, a more vulnerable. Almost the best. But the other half you have to deal with at the same time. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
See, like what this guy's saying. The ones that are good, they're like the sweetest things you've ever met, bro. And they're like I'm actually going to show you this girl, the one that's here. So you guys kind of get an idea the level that they're on. Like this was like her most recent post. And this, hold on, let me find the one. This is one of the photos that I used for her profile on what we were building, right? They're just really classy. See what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And she's like 34 looking like that. But then the influencer, she's like, this is considered kind of like the top here. And they dress like super rich, but the influencer girl here she got popular from a dating show they had out here. But look at how they are, bro.
Let me put it on the big screen for the fellas.
And she's like 28 years old or something like that. I think that's what Orest was saying. Orest is my trainer buddy that was doing some translating for me. And I mean, dude, I'm not a starer, but I remember sitting in the meeting. I was just like, God, you make women like this? Like, this is crazy. You know what I'm saying? But he broke it into me saying, look, he's like, our biggest issue with her, citing her, is her friends and the people around her in the community. If she's going to make as much as we're proposing to her, they're, one, maybe not going to like that. So they're going to talk bad about it. Or two, they don't have the sophistication, unfortunately, that Americans do of understanding of money and business. And they may think that it's not real. So they're gonna get to her. And unfortunately, that will matter more to her. So our plan was, we got to get her a check first, because once she gets a check, she's not going to care what anybody does. We didn't even make it there, bro. We didn't even make it there. And the deal we were offering her had cost her no money, nothing. We just needed a post, and then boom, we'd have revenued from that, and we'd have cut her a fatty check. And we didn't even make it there, bro. But I like I told you before, there was some stuff that I find pretty concerning that I couldn't believe that they thought was normal. So I go to one of the premier gyms here, I guess. It's the most I've ever paid for a gym. It's like 200 euros a month. But I was willing to do that because my rent's so cheap and it's in my building. In order to get me into the gym, you can't make me work to get to the gym. It has to be here, you know? So I'm sitting in the sauna and I was telling these guys, I'm like, look, this is really cool. Like every time I go on a date or I go out with a girl, she's locked in on me, bro. She doesn't look at anybody else. She doesn't look at who's walking by, a dog can bark at her, nothing. And he's like, yeah, because if she doesn't do that, Albanian guys will hit her. And I was like, what? And the girl with him was laughing with him. And I'm like, you're a girl. And I was the only one sitting in the sauna thinking, I don't know if I think that's funny. And I started realizing, so then I called Gisela, because Gisela, she's out in Michigan, but she's from here. And I said, hey, I'm discovering some things here, man. And she's like, I was waiting for this conversation. And I was like, really? And she goes, Thomas, I did not even wasn't even allowed to, or I never even handled money until I got married and came to the States at the age of 26. And I told my brother, I said, yo, my nieces are in South Korea right now. They just posted a picture in the North Korea DMZ because we taught them money. I couldn't imagine how much you're holding back your people because they can't have or control or learn how to use money. That is just To me, that's too much. It's too much. I get it. Like maybe the super red pill guys would be like, yeah, super submissive. Nah, man, like she needs to be able to do something. Do you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm finding out that's really regular. The one that was the hardest for me was I did meet a girl from Kosovo, and she was very politically tied. And I had told her about, this business that I had that I think could really work. And she was like, oh man, we could blow that up with our political ties here. When we started doing the numbers and she saw the size of the numbers that she would make, this girl broke down crying, the most horrendous cry I had ever witnessed. And I'm like, what is going on? And this went on for 2 hours, bro. And I finally told her, I said, look, I don't want to be rude, but I think you might need some help. Like, I've never seen anybody cry and have trauma like that over something like this. And she started breaking down saying, I can't make that kind of money here. They'll take it from me. They've already done it 3 times. As a woman, you can't have this kind of money. They'll come and take it from you, or the government will take it. And I was like, holy crap. And she was saying how she lost her house twice because of the same thing. So she doesn't want to make that kind of money. Have you ever heard anything like that? Mm-hmm. And to listen to her cry for 2 hours, like heavy, deep. And I was like, I told her, I said, you might need help. I know this sounds terrible, but you might need professional help. Like, I can't help you with this. And so finding that out, I didn't like that. And I think just recently, I think it's the education. I don't want to say they're uneducated, but I do. And when you look at that in an aspect of like dating, mating, relationships, and that, is that the best? Mm-hmm. Like they have trauma around money. What happens when you make money if you're in a relationship together, right? In the beginning, what I saw, what I thought was cool, because I was like, man, remember I got mad at somebody and nobody cared that I had a scuff with them. No one cared. So I was like, this is cool. Men can be men. Now I'm realizing they think it's normal, maybe, to be abused. That's going too far. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Well, you have any thoughts on that, or you think it's fine?
Well, when it comes to other people's culture, man, I don't really try to speak too judgmental on other people's culture to a certain degree. I just kind of like because I remember being in Thailand and seeing a Thai dude, jump on his wife or his girl, and nobody, police was sitting right there. So I'm just like, well, you know what I mean? Like it's not my country.
Well,
my
I understand what you're saying when it comes to that way. I think it's because I know the details. Like you're going to smack someone because someone walked by and they looked at him real fast. Mm-hmm. Now I know the details. That I don't think is okay. If maybe she disrespected you or but maybe I might say I understand the emotion a little bit more, right? Mm-hmm. But for them to talk about it like it was so normal. Okay, so let's get into the business side of it. This is what I started to realize. These guys are so fundamentally, they're missing the fundamentals of business. I could go in and 10x any business that they have here with one tweak of the most simplest thing, and they don't get it, right? And I'm like, how do you not know this? And what I found out is, first thing you'll notice when you're here is you're going to notice Maybachs, Lamborghinis, R8s, but people's salaries are 500 euros a month. So your mind's turning. Where's this money coming from, right? Mm-hmm. And then you're going to notice 90% of the cars are Mercedes, Audi, or Beamer. 90%. So it's not just a few, it's 90%. So you're like, whoa, how big is this presence, right? Then you go to these beautiful coffee shops and nobody spends more than $1.80 and they sit there for 3 hours. How does the business stay open? And these are beautiful coffee shops. Then you take a cab and they pick you up in a 2024 or a 2025 $65,000 electric Mercedes. And there's about 30 or 35 taxi companies in a population of 1.8 million in the city. Do you get what I'm alluding to?
Mm-hmm. All right, Mr. Lewis with a $5 super chat says, BMT, tag the guest. Does he do consultations? You do consultations, right?
Yeah. Tell him that's my IG right there, Thomas Brown verified is my IG.
Oh yeah, let me put that. Shout out to you, Mr. Lewis. Appreciate the $5 super chat. Right now, you said you had some other maybe stories and concerns of just Albania that you thought was kind of concerning.
Well, okay, if you look up the history, so in Kosovo, and the guys need to know this. They need to know this because there's kind of a problem in the States, but it'll be a big problem in Kosovo. So they had such a high level of domestic violence that they have a law there that if you're married, you got to be married in a relationship, and she claims domestic violence, they can literally like come and get you and just put you in jail, no questions. And the reason it was so bad was like, if you look it up, they were literally killing these women in the streets, pregnant, in the streets, in the middle of everybody. Like, dude, that's really bad. This was 20 years ago, 15-ish. Mm-hmm. That's not very long ago. So they haven't kind of evolved from that. And so I think the underlying thing is the lack of education. Usually when there's that, it's made up with integration. Does that make sense? And that I think is concerning. I think if people don't understand that here, they're going to get in a lot of trouble. They're going to get in a lot of trouble.
Okay, I got Muhammad Ali says, Thomas is 100% right. Albanians have undercover money like Russians. The country broke, but the dudes are Nino Brown. What would you say to that?
Bro, I'm telling you. Like, I was trying to work a lease on a building here. And the owner was like, I don't want to lease it. I want to sell it. Right? And I was like, okay, so I leave. And I was talking to Arturo, and Arturo's like, why didn't you tell me? I would buy it. And I'm like, Arturo, I didn't think you had that much cash. He had that much cash. Do you know what I'm saying? So, and this is like everyone. It's like everyone. So it's very interesting, and it has that twinge to it where you're like, I'm going to be careful here because it has that twinge to it. And it's like everyone.
I remember being in Brazil on Copacabana, the little walkway, and running into this white guy. I don't know if he was German. I know he was like some European country, and he was saying that he was down bad. I think I bought him. I think I bought him a beer or something. But we had a conversation, and he was in real estate, and he had this big real estate deal in Italy, right? And that was just like you know how business guys are. They be waiting on that big play to kind of cover things, get everything settled, come back up. You know how business is. And he was like, the mafia came and just took it from him. Like he didn't make any money off the transaction. I think he had sold he was trying to sell like a real estate, hotel. It was something he was doing in Italy, basically. They were just like, hey, you ain't from here and we're not giving you shit, basically. So we're going to take what
Sicily's really bad for that. Sicilian's really bad. They'll approach you.
And he was basically saying he was just like, the government is the mafia, basically.
Pretty much, yeah, a little bit. Here is different. They're trying to battle it a lot. There's a very famous lawyer here that has to have bodyguards and stuff because he's been taking down a lot of organization people, and they're looking for him. You know what I'm saying? And I
want to your problem solved.
Say what?
Hey, they always trying to tell us to go back to Africa, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you black, they're like, go back to Africa. Shut up. Go to Africa.
Hey, I mean, when I met like an African girl in Qatar, she was gorgeous, bro. So, and she was sweet and feminine. Just when she got a little riled up, I tasted a little bit of that wretchedness, and I was like, no, I don't want that, But I mean, for the most part, yeah. Like when I was in Istanbul,
African wretchedness is different than American wretchedness for sure.
Yeah. Well, but then when I was in Istanbul, we found a fried chicken place. Me and my brother, and we went in there, and there was this like, I think she's Guyanese, French Guyanese, right? They speak
now, why
French.
Had it be a fried chicken place?
Well, yeah,
I'm just messing with you.
Well, we found it. He found it because I guess for his lunch, his nurse got it for him. He's like, bro, they got fried chicken here. He's like, we got to find it. And so we found it. And there was like this French Guyana girl in there. And she was beautiful, man. She was little frame and like huge stuff to get off her chest. And I was like, and she was so sweet. And like, she showed it. Like as soon as I walked in, she looked up and just blushing. Like she was just blushing. And she was like putting it in the flour and stuff like that, just looking at me. And my brother, by the way, I've hung out with my brother in years. My brother is A1 number one wingman, bro. Like he read it. He was like, bro, she was Indian. He's like, you were just staring at her, making her nervous. And I was like, I learned that from the Albanians.
You know what's funny, man? I remember I was in the DR and they had like this Popeyes in the mall, right? And the Popeyes was like the line was like damn near around the corner, you know. And I went to the video. I think I did do a video. Well, I recorded it. And I was like, Dominicans say they ain't black, but look at all these niggas in the Popeyes line.
Same here though. The Albania, there's one that I found in Tag Mall. There's only one, and I wanted to film it, but I was too busy smashing that because I was like, dang, I ain't had any real food like this. And of all of the food court, Popeyes had a big old line, and I was like, damn, really? But so to rewind back a little bit, the thing that I find concerning. So a couple things that I pitched. The guys that are friends with me, they're like, don't tell anybody this. And I'm like, why? And they go, you're going to notice another one pop up just like yours. And I was like, so I'm cool with competition. He's like, no, it'll be 5 times bigger than yours. And you're going to think it's going to lose money, but everyone's going to go there. And he was letting me know that they're going to watch and see what's successful. And they're going to put something better. And they're not so much going to care if it makes money because they're washing the money. But that holds the community down. It holds the community down. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's why you see, like, if you go to Mason, there is no way a lounge that beautiful, and everybody coming in there is only spending $1.80, and she's doing remodels, and the ceiling rolls back, and the glass walls roll down. No way. Do you know what I'm saying? And so that was the big disheartening thing for me because I was like, I can't compete with that. I don't know what to do. They need to move that, and they need to move it in huge numbers. So I'm giving them ideas on how to clean it, but it hurts my business. Does that make sense? And that's when I was like, okay, this is concerning. This is a problem. Like, this is a real problem. And what can I do? I can't sue. I can't buff my chest out. I'm gonna end up dead. Do you see what I'm saying? So that's kind of reshaped the way that I've looked at some things. The only advantage you will have here is if you want to do some e-commerce, they don't understand it, they don't know how to do it, and they won't mess with you. And they don't want it because e-commerce runs on cards, and cards are very transparent, and they don't want that. Oh, I don't know if I told you, it's still like 95% cash here. It's 2025, bro. That's crazy. Like, if you go to the bank is full all the time because people will walk to the bank to get cash out, even though they got their business card in their hand. It's just, now I get it though, because they don't want it to be tracked. So basically, how long you been in Albania?
Almost 6 months now. Almost 6 months now. And I remember how excited you was about now are you having thoughts of maybe going other places, other countries? Right now, where my thought process is, if I can pull one of these Albanian girls, I'm gonna go live out there with y'all in Thailand with an Albanian. That's my thought process right now. Especially if I'm gonna get my citizenship over there, the whole world's open to me. But in dealing with, like, I play word games with them out here, because, like, if I mention, like, I had gone out with a girl or something, one guy will start talking Albanian to the other guy, and you can tell by the tone he's pissed. He doesn't like that, right? So I've learned enough words from the good side with friends. Like I said, it's 50-50. So on the 50% that's really good to me, they're very good to me. So they taught me how to say words in Albanian that are specific to Tirana, right? So not just Albanian, or they call it Shqiptar, not just Shqiptar, in Shqiptar Tirana, that dialect. And so one of the things that I had ran into was the education is pretty low on manners and stuff. So on the trip I did to Italy, I was coming back through Rome, through what's the main airport? Ciampiano? No, that's a smaller one.
Anyways, the bigger airport in Rome, okay? And we were where the gate is, and then they lined us all up, and everyone's kind of cutting everybody off, but I'm kind of used to that in Europe. But we got lined up in the jet bridge, right? And in the jet bridge, this guy comes by and he's walking past us with his whole family. And I was just in a mood. And I was like, bro, you can't walk past everybody. Like, this is in the jet bridge. Do you know what I'm saying? I was like, bro, you can't just walk past everybody. He looks at me with this furious look. And I was like, and I just looked at him like, what? Like, I don't know. We all get in those moods where like, yeah, I want the smoke. We all get in those moods. You know what I'm saying? So I was ready. I was like, if we're going to have smoke, we're going to have smoke. But I'm tired of this disrespect. So he's like, go. Like, go ahead and shut your mouth, is what he said. Like, go ahead and shut your mouth. And I was like, if you try to cut us off, you're going to hear it from me again. Right. But I was like very, 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 very like calm about it. He was very boisterous, very loud. And he was like, I said, shut your mouth. And everyone starts looking, and his sons perk up and they start looking back, and his daughter looks, and I'm like, oh, it's getting real. Right. And he's like, you cannot speak like that to me. And I'm like what? I go, you can't walk past everyone and disrespect everybody. If you're going to do that, you're going to hear something from me. Right. And then he was like, blah, blah, blah. And since he couldn't budge me, he started talking in Albanian. So I said to him, I go, Chabone, like that. And he looked at me like, what the did you say? And Chabone means what's up. But I was using it in a different way, like what it is, what you want to do, bro. Right. And he was just looking at me like, you crazy, bro. You understand? Like, you crazy. And then he starts talking. Yeah, he starts talking again in Shqiptar. I go,
so you had to get into it with Albanian
a couple times, man. I'm trying to kill that side of me because people that know me, they know that I have a very, like, I think you had something where you got in a brawl.
It was self-defense. It was self-defense from my part.
But
I just started now. Yeah.
Totally understood you because I'm like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm like that. Like, I've been into some scraps. My smile and my charisma throws people off because once that switch happens, I don't even like myself.
At the end of the day, we men. And it's when you. I don't care where you at in this world because I've went off from people in Brazil for jumping me too, so I definitely understand it. Right? It's just that, you know, when you diversing with another grown ass man, there's a possibility of somebody getting their ass whooped. I don't, you know, it's just what it is.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is, it's so drastic. People aren't ready for that with me. Now, my family, if you know how my family is, you'll get it. Like, my mom shot my brother's friend for trying to steal my brother's weight bench. Like, my mom's the most gangster of us. If you meet her, you'll never believe that. You will never believe that. And we will tell you, don't cross her. She will shoot you. She literally shot my brother's friend. And he never came back. She only shot him with a pellet gun. But the reason he never came back is we know mom grabbed whatever gun. She didn't pick the pellet gun. She grabbed the first one. Do you see what I'm saying? And she shot him in the backyard. My brother, he's a SEAL. My whole life, my brother's fought fights for me. When I was in elementary, someone was talking some smack. I see my brother run across the yard, jump in the air, double foot kick into the chest off the swings. So people don't know that side. I try to not let it out because I don't like it. I feel like I you know those like Marvel movies, and you're like, I don't want to let the animal out.
Did y'all fight or anything? Or what happened?
We didn't fight, but the thing was, one of the girls had told me, she said, you scared him. And I was like, how? And she's like, you were too calm. And she's like, that's how the organization is out here. They're too calm. So he kind of, because when I said to him, I go, Mir, like that, which means good, like you good. And he put his head down and he kind of backed off, and his daughter went, like they were blown away that he backed off of me. And I mean, he definitely was looking at me eye to eye, but I was definitely a lot larger than him. But aggression here is a very normal thing. And I feel like in our culture of Black culture, the aggression is normal but unhealthy. And I think you put these two together, I think the Albanians will take it further.
Okay, I got a super chat here by $2. Osuma Abdul, $2 super chat. I really appreciate that. He says, what's the vibe of the 30, 40-year-old age women in Albania? Osuma Abdul, I thought you was a Muslim, man. You out there trying to mess with the snow bunnies. All right.
um,
Dr. Umar, you assume, but go ahead. What's the
I
vibe
think
out
they're
there?
fantastic. I think that just going to throw you off because they look like they might be 23, 24, but they're like 30, 31. Like they're that bad. They're like that bad. The two that I showed you, the first one's 34 with the green dress.
Mhm.
34 looking like that. Beautiful, right? And then I think the youngest one is that I know, her name is Bana, and she looks, I guess they all kind of look the same in age. But the maturity level, I think, is what you're gonna like. Like the women are the most mature, the most sweet, the most feminine, and the most beautiful I've ever seen. Where I think there's going to be a problem is inside of a relationship, I don't know if they know healthy. I think you'll do well if you're an abusive guy, probably, to tell you the truth. Do you know what I'm saying? The part that would work against you is if she gets American citizenship because she marries you and she figures that out, she's not staying, right? If you go on the abusive side. And that's kind of, I think, what the success, why I've had such success here is they like, my grocery store is small enough that I say hi to all the girls working, and or I'll say, yeah, I noticed you got your hair done, or I like your coat, and they blush, like they can't even speak, they blush. So they don't get treated good at all. It doesn't look like that. So I've had very good success by just being nice, which blows me away. In America, that's like a sin. Do you know what I'm saying? But I think that I think they would like it. I just don't think the guys would be patient enough, and I don't think they would do well with their demeanor. They're not smiley people. They are, once they like you and once they know you, then they're like very open and very smiley and stuff. Like Shorty, we made a video because my buddy was like, yo, I want a video. Oh, by the way, so all these people that are mad at me because I always call them out, give me proof or show. My term is like, real quick, post a picture of you and her, but make sure your face is in the picture. Yeah, 99% of the time I don't believe what the person's putting up, but I want to give them the chance to like be honest. You know what I'm saying? So I give them the chance that I could be wrong. So my buddy kind of did that to me. He's like, you guys should make a video together. I was like, all right, I'll ask her. So she makes this video. This will give you an idea of how they are. Why is it that I can't find this when I need it? Oh, but I know where it is in the WhatsApp. Okay. I'll give you an idea of how they are with you when they like you. They're adorable. Okay. So I just made this video for him to say what's up to him. And you can just see her body language. I didn't know she was going to do this. But check this out. Okay, hold on.
What's up, buddy? Hello. This is Shorty, everybody. She likes the name Shorty.
So I didn't know she was going to come up and put her arms around me and all that type of stuff. So that's what I'm saying. When you get in with them, it's beautiful. Like, it's beautiful. And like, they're so good that like they know you when you're quiet. And I don't know if any of you guys have been in a relationship. That's the best thing. So like yesterday, I don't know if my medicine was acting up. I wasn't in the best mood. And I was sitting there and Shorty was just looking at me and I could see her. She kept looking at me like 6, 7 times. But she realized, hey, he needs to be left alone. And she did not get in her feelings about it at all. And I was like, dude, that is what every man needs. If they know you when you're quiet, man, that's what every man needs. But here, I think if you can get in with the good, but then the bad is the same. Do you know what I'm saying? Finnish girl in Latvia, Albanians are like black folks. Yeah, they actually are. That's actually a really good thing. Okay.
Hold on. Let me read this for the audience. Albanians are like black folks. I have Albanian friends who are cool as hell.
Let me explain what he means by that. So they've been oppressed in communism for a long time. And they took up arms and they fought the Russians to get their country back. And I mean, these were people that didn't have education, they picked up picks and shovels and whatever they had, and they beat them. That is wild. Like super warriors. So it's very interesting when you get to know them, you do got this vibe. They understand how you feel as someone that's been oppressed and discriminated against. They understand. Like they understand deeply, meaning like they were under communism for years and years and years. So they understand it. Probably they understand us very, very well. the ones that want to. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I said go to Kosovo. They understand it the most. Like the one girl that's the advisor to the prime minister there, she said that to me. She's like, I feel like we're like kin because we understand, like you guys have been through the same oppressions that we have. She said that to me. Imagine being a black dude hearing that from a knockout. Do you know what I'm saying? So that's why I'm torn. The good side is special, bro. The good side is special. But the bad side is maybe 1% less. So it's like 49, 50%. So it's very tiring having to navigate.
Have you seen any mixed interracial couples there?
I have.
Okay.
I have.
Black dudes and the snow bunnies?
Yeah, I have.
Okay.
Well, and then there's an Indian guy here. So some of the stuff that I don't like, it does work here. Like if you're established and you have money, they'll kind of bypass what everybody thinks, but not in the way that an American girl will. Like they still live together. Their families still live together. So if you have an apartment by yourself like this, to her, that's stable. Okay. In America, she'd be like, you only got an apartment, right? But to an Albanian girl, this is very stable. So for an American, we don't feel like that's gold digging because we're like, this is normal. Of course, I'm going to pay for my own apartment, right? Me living by myself here is very rare. I didn't know that.
And that's in a lot of foreign countries because I get that all the time. Who you live with? Like, I live by myself. They're like, what?
And they're different about that. Yeah, they're different with you. So that's to me, I understand that stability. That's stability to her. So yeah, that's the very good part of it here. Now, the part that you have to battle, that's why I'm like 50-50 with this. They're so gorgeous that you got all these like Arabs and all these guys trying to fly them out, message them and do this and that. Most girls won't because shame is still a huge thing here. But the few that do, they're gone. Do you know what I'm saying? They're gone. Like they tasted that and they're gone. They don't quite realize it's not fully healthy maybe, but they're going from sharing a house and sharing a room to some palace. Like they're gone. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of navigating here, and you have to be able to read like the good and the bad, and you have to be able to trust your gut, and you have to be able to overcome your addiction to beauty. That's what makes it hard, man. Like the one girl's sister, I think she's the main bee around here, and she is so fine. And I'm sure that she's a gold digger, but she is so fine that I'm like, I fight myself every day. Because she's always looking. I don't know if I posted that thing of the Slavic chicks. She's the one that did that to me. Like I was out being Albanian, smoking a cigar out by the street for no reason. I'm like, damn, Albanians rub off on me. I'm standing on the street.
Mm-hmm. I got a question here about DMR. He says white passport bros might make out better than the bros. What you think?
I think so because they look like that. They look like so they can't decipher that it's different, that you're foreign. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, but speaking of that, so there's an Indian guy here who has an Albanian girlfriend. And she's like wanting to marry him and stuff. So she's already fallen for him. And I met her and I was like, bro, what? Because I like Indian dudes, but they're not always the most swagger guys. You know what I'm saying? And his girlfriend is damn. And I said, and this is another good part of them, is the first thing out of his mouth was he's like, when an issue needs to be dropped, she can drop it. And that is very true here. I've had arguments with some of these girls, and when it's over right then and there. It does not carry over 5 minutes, 10 minutes, the next day, a month, 6 months, it's over. I have never experienced that in women. Have you? Any culture?
No.
So those are kind of hard things. You know what I'm saying?
Shout out to my man playing with a passport in the building. Shout out to you. Says, ooh, that's game over. That's game overcome your addition to beauty.
It's true.
I got another one by BMT. Did Thomas say he went to Sicily? You went to Sicily, right?
Yeah, I've been to Sicily. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, I tried to do.
Are Albanians Muslim? I keep seeing all these questions about Muslims and stuff. And are they Muslim out there?
So Albania is non-religious, but That's only because of the communism. They took away religion and they made it illegal. And then when they got out of it, they kind of helped each other. So like the Catholics helped build the Muslim temple, and then they helped each other. So now they have this interfaith thing. And so it's very fluid here. It's one of the few places where religion will not be an issue at all. But there are Muslims. There is a mosque here. Do I hear the prayer call? Never. I never hear the prayer call, which is wild in a Muslim part of a country. But yeah, there's a lot of that.
Osama Abdu says, good point. Indian American men make the second highest income in the States after Jews, but what's that say? But dead last on all the dating apps. So money doesn't always isn't make or break.
It's not. But here, what's different is if you're really giving them security, meaning you living by yourself is what her dad accomplished for the family, and they're still living together. So to her, it's a marker. It's a marker right away. For an American, that's a very easy marker to hit. We don't know how to live with people. Like I could have saved money and had a roommate. I can't do it. You know what I'm saying?
You know what? Yeah. Yeah, that's so but you know what? Now, because of inflation, a lot of people are starting to roommate again nowadays.
I actually think it might be kind of healthy. A lot of the issues I'm having here is my independence, meaning like, you know, like Orest, it took him a long time to become my friend, and it was my fault because we became friends because we both can lift a lot of weight, right? And so he saw me doing like 225 sets, and here, I guess people just don't lift a lot of weight, but to him, it was impressive that I was doing it without a spotter. That to me was my workout, right? And then a couple of days ago, I was worried about my shoulder because I've gotten on the Mike Mentzer program. So unfortunately, when you hold on, I'll get to that. But unfortunately, when you grow a muscle too fast, sometimes the tendon doesn't catch up, right? Yeah. And I was getting away from bench because any of you guys at a bench, you don't feel like it hits your chest at all, right? It's all here. And I was like, I want to grow my chest. So I was doing a lot of like dumbbells and cable curls and stuff like that. And my tendons were hurting. So I started going back to bench to work it out. And he saw me testing it. And I did like 315, like 1.5 times or something like that. And they thought I was like Superman. And I'm like, I played football. This is like very regular over there. Like I'm a weakling compared to them. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, 225 is well. Actually, they just came out with a study that say only like 10% of the population. I think less than 10% can bench 225. But when I was growing up, that was damn near normal.
Yeah, you and me have come from sports. That's normal. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then that one machine where you put your chest on it and you could put the weights on this side and then you pull them. And the trainer was teaching me to pull back and shrug. I didn't know to add the shrug. I'm doing 315 on that. And they just think I'm like freaking Superman over here. And I'm like, it's weird because I feel a little embarrassed because they're like watching me. And I don't know if you're like me. If you're an athlete, you when you work out, you want your zone. You want your zone because you need to get the mind muscle connection. You need to feel the rep. You need to hit the burn. You need to make sure that you're catching the peak in that muscle. And like right now, I'm struggling with biceps. I'm lifting the weight, but I'm not feeling it in my biceps. So something's wrong. Do you know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So that if you're an athlete, you understand that. But anyhow, to answer this guy's question, what's the vibe like?
Let me read it real quick. I got Soma Abdul 2 said, "What's the vibe like? Sissy women for the bros." I assume I'm gonna call out Dr. Umar and you, man, because he's really trying to get to the snow bunnies.
In Italy, you're not gonna have any issues, bro. In Italy, you're not.
What isn't Sicily the darker Italians?
Sicilians tan very, 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 very well. Very, very, very well. But a girl that I talked to for a long time, she's Sicilian, and I will show you what that looks like. Do you have an Apple phone? This new Photos app sucks, bro.
Yeah, I actually do have an Apple phone, yeah.
It sucks. But look, I talked to this girl for almost a year or so, and this is what a Sicilian girl looks like, and you can see the color on her a little bit. Well, shit, how do I get rid of that highlight? I typed in her name, but that's a Sicilian girl. And see the tan she's got? That's from literally one day in the sun. One day. Yeah, so they get dark quick.
Yeah.
No. That was me taking a screenshot from the call.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I had saved it
Yeah,
because I put
we
her
gotta,
thing
we
up.
gotta, we gotta watch Asumo Abdul, boy. He trying to get in Europe.
Is he Muslim or what?
I'm pretty
Is,
sure
or is he
he.
African American?
With that name, I'm assuming that he, Muslim.
Okay, but if he's African, and any of the African guys watching this,
Hold
sorry.
on, that was African.
I'm sorry. I'm
African.
sorry for anybody that's African.
You might want to just say Black American and African, bro. Like just
Black American and African.
You said African.
I'm sorry to say this. In every country I've been to, the women check for you guys, not in a good way. They all want to see if you're African or if you're African American. And if you're African American, let's party. If you're African, let's not party. I have run into it in every country I've been to. Yeah, maybe you can answer why. I don't know why. Why are they doing that?
No, that's true. That's true. I mean, that's very true. Actually,
they check for that first.
I've ran into every country besides the DR, because DR they asking if you're Haitian or not. But yeah, that's true. That's true.
But if they're asking if you're Haitian, that's pretty much asking if you're African, right?
No, they're just asking if you're Haitian. Shit, but yeah, I mean, let's be honest. Let's be honest. Like we men, so we can be honest and transparent. Because you got your exceptions, because some women want Nigerian guys are known for making money and stuff like that too in certain parts of the world. But generally speaking, yes, the Black Americans are up there as far as the I guess you want to say racial rank. Yeah. Racial ranks or something. It was, matter of fact, that's in every society though, bro. It was a Asian comedian who said that even in Asia they got they ranks and stuff. Mm-hmm. He was joking about the rankings of ethnicities and even in Asia. So that's everywhere. That's just what it is. Mm-hmm.
The sexual market.
Yeah, and I mean, women are they hypergamous, so they're gonna see, okay, he's one on one. He's American. He got American dollars. Boom, that's it.
Mm-hmm. Well, also size and stuff, like you guys saw that post I put up. I was really worried about the
popularity too, though. It's popularity, like
yeah,
Black Americans are popular in all over the world because of entertainment and music and stuff like that.
Like the unspokens would be like size and stuff like that, because I noticed. I don't know if you guys remember. I don't know, for some reason my posts get a lot of action on your stuff, on your pages, right? But
you talking about the Passport Bros Facebook group.
Yeah, I was.
Yeah, you controversial, man. You be going in.
I'm not.
Well, you know what? You're not even controversial. I just think that you got haters in our group, man. They just be.
Yeah, I'm telling the truth. They just don't want that to be true unless it's coming from them. Do you know what I'm saying? But like, I've come to see, and this has been my whole life, there's a lot of people that have a problem that somehow I bat above my pay grade, right? They think, according to their metrics, I can't get a girl like that. I have my whole life. I give it the credit to my mom. Whatever charisma she gets, because when I got around my brother, he's the same way. So me and him together, we're dangerous, bro. And there's just something about the way we talk and carry ourselves, and we kind of got that from our mom. But at the same time, my mom was very, 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 very beautiful when she was young. So we might understand the mentality of a beautiful girl, because my mom was one of them. Do you know what I'm saying?
T-Mac says, I agree. I saw the discrimination in Japan and China where they distinguish between Native Africans and Black Americans. They are not nice to Africans. I mean, it's like that everywhere. Like, I think I was talking to a Cambodian girl, and she was just like, are you African? And I'm like, nah, I'm from America.
But that one post I had showed of that super bad one I met in at the club in Qatar, she said that she had watched me for a while because she wanted to make sure that I wasn't African. But she was African. That's why I was like, hold up. You don't even want your own people. I didn't ask too many questions because I had other things on my mind, obviously. But I don't know what that is, man. I don't know what that is. One of these days, I'm just going to sit down and say, what is it? Do you know what I'm saying?
All right. Royston gives $2 super chat, says, what type of work do you men do overseas? I'm a content creator. But go ahead. Go ahead.
Can I promote anything or no?
Always, brother. Come on now.
So this app right here that you see, Aurora, these 4 apps on the bottom, I own those 4 apps. But the one all the way to the right, it says Aurora. We're launching very soon. And it is a competitor to a company called Velocity Black. It is a luxury concierge company. It's probably been one of the most difficult businesses I've ever built just because staffing and around the world times for people to ask for things and all the software behind the scene. Like when you use the app, it's simple, but behind the scene, we're running triple screens to get all this information done. It's crazy. But yeah, it's kind of a SaaS business, software as a service, but I do have staffing behind it. And that's kind of just how I can do what I want. The thing is in order to have 24/7 coverage, I have to have staffing in different countries to cover that 24/7, if that makes sense. And it's tough because like the Philippine staff, they're very conservative. So if someone messages in for a helicopter ride, they're going to offer them like the cheapest, and that is not what I want them to do. Albanians are wonderful. They like rich things, so they offer the best. And that's what I want. I want the customer to say, no, maybe a little less. I don't want to offer them the cheapest, if that makes sense. So it's just yeah, I run a tech business. I don't do content creation. I tried it. You guys are brave. I don't know how you can, like these YouTube shows. I spent half a day trying to editing one, and I was like, I'm done with this. I'm done with this.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
So I got T-Matt says, I heard they've claiming Black Americans because they have a bad reputation. I've seen that before.
Who has a bad reputation? The Americans or the Africans?
Yeah, some of the Africans. Yeah, some of the Africans.
Yeah.
Shout out to my Africans, man. I don't never want guys to think we're beating up on the Africans.
That's why I said I don't want them to think that. It's just something I've noticed, if that makes sense. You know, so what is your response to the few times I've done an Albanian thing? Is this like a very, very obscure place for your audience? So they're just kind of like, wow, what's up with Albania? Why is he there? Like everybody sees it as like a strange thing, or what do you get?
I mean, you know, you know, the comments, you know, some of the military guys are familiar with Albania. I actually had a guy that was going to come on, but he didn't pop up. But yeah, Albania, you know, I always look at it how Andrew Tate just said it's not too long ago. He was just basically saying that if European countries allow too many, I guess, Black men in, then that's the end of European countries or white states, basically.
Mm-hmm. So, well, they try to use the word that they don't want to mix their blood. Do you know what I'm saying? And so on the bad side, some of the staring is crazy here, right? Like they don't even realize they're staring at you, and they'll watch you walk all the way across the street for like a whole 4 minutes.
I don't be liking that shit. You know what I'm saying?
I don't either, but I found out it wasn't as bad as I thought, because one day I got tired and I threw my hands out like this, like what? And he goes, yeah, happy like that. And then he looked at my thumb to see if I was giving him a thumbs up. And real quick, I popped my thumb up like, okay, he's not got bad intent. I'm just reading this wrong, right? But what I've learned to do to test it is if they stare at me for a long time, I'll just go, what's up like that. And they snap out of it right away. And they're just like, oh, hey, Chipotle, me or whatever. And then I started learning that they do that to anything. Like if they see a car they haven't seen, they just stare. It's just one of these things they do. We just as Americans, we read it aggressive. And they don't have a smiley face either. They're all very like hyper masculine. And that's why I'm very particular about people that message me about coming here. If I get that sense that they want to be a playboy, I'm like, this is not the place, bro. You will get hurt here. And one guy, he didn't want to hear that. And I had to tell him, I'm like, if you come here, don't tell me, because I don't want a part of it. You're a liability. You think I'm cock blocking or whatever. I'm not. I'm trying to save your life. Like, this is not the place to do that, bro. This is not the place.
So is Albania would you consider it to be like a no-go zone, or you suggest that bros kind of go out there, or maybe just the white passport bros go out there? Like,
I think if you're a sophisticated brother, right? You speak well, you can articulate well, respect matters to you, not matters that you're treated respectfully, respect in general you feel is important, you'll do fine. And if you have manners, you'll do fine. But if you are much like some of the people that we deal with in the group, where they do anything to get attention, prop themselves up, chase the clout here, that could result. It's not a beating; they could die. That's why I'm like, I don't think you should come here, because when you interact with those ones, they push back more. They push back more. There's like something in them. They need the last word. I need to get the right. I need to be right. I need to prop myself up. And the way that I've learned to spot them is they can't get attention by being interesting. They can only garner attention by picking something popular and hating on it. And I've learned that because my posts blow up, right? And so those particular type will come to my post because it's got way more action. And now here's my chance for everyone to see me, and I'm going to be a hater, but they just want attention. That personality type, meaning I need to use someone else to get up to this level here, could result in them disappearing. That is my concern about Albania. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
That is my concern. That's the only bit. That's the only it. So in our group for the Passport Bros, and they're probably not even going to admit it, but the ones that you know who they are. Like if you put up a 10, he's going to be like, she's mid. Or like, I still want to call the name out so bad right now, but I'm not going to. But there's certain guys that no matter what girl gets put up there, what is he going to do? He's above that. She's not on his level, no matter what, right? That way of viewing the women, you bring that here, it's dangerous. It's dangerous. Now, are they only doing that online? I don't know. But if they feel that need to do that, I feel like they shouldn't come to a place like this. Anyone that's been there, huh?
Mm-hmm. I said Albania is just so kind of far off the map too. Like it's not even really near any other destinations.
It's a 30-minute. They have a hydrofoil actually here. Do you remember G.I. Joe?
Mm-hmm.
Remember the boat that Cobra had that popped up out of the water? Mm-hmm. They have one of those that goes to Greece. It's 30 minutes. That's
but I'm talking about like most passport bros. They in Thailand, Brazil. Like they don't really. Albania just not really on the map. Like matter of fact, usually the only person I've really even talked to that has been to Albania for the most part.
Can I ask you a controversial question about that? Is it because they want easy women?
Not necessarily. I just think that brothers, who've already experienced living next to whites understand that it's somewhat of aggressive. Like people don't feel like dealing with that outside the country. The people are leaving the United States to not have to deal with certain aspects of when they travel, like staring at me, looking with being with the white girl, stuff like that. So I just think brothers are more comfortable.
But that's not. But I run all over. But I run all over Europe. It's not like that. We actually get more attention. And the girls.
And another thing, I don't even think, as far as just the black passport bros, I don't think a lot of passport bros are even into European women in general. Like I think
I'm not sure Latina. I believe that though. Like when the few that have come here and they've seen them, they're like, "Oh my God!" Like they cannot believe it. I just think they're harder to talk to and they're harder to read. And I think
the biggest staple is like Latin America for most brothers, man. Like Latin America is the Dominican Republic, Colombia, Brazil. I just think that's kind of, because you blend in.
I can't argue.
A lot of guys like to blend in. I like to blend in myself. You know what I mean? Like I'm more comfortable being in, even though it's a little more dangerous in some cases. Like nobody even knows I'm not Dominican. They don't know I'm not Black Colombian. They don't know I'm not Black Brazilian. So I think it's just a comfort zone. It's a comforting in that instead of me being the only Black dude in some Eastern European country. Like some cats just don't feel like dealing with that shit.
But when you're going to get married or have a significant other, don't you want the highest level of attraction for yourself, barring all the other things?
I think Latina women are the highest attractive in the world, personally.
I do.
At least for me, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like,
no, I mean,
Dominican women be bad as hell, bro. Colombian women be beautiful.
I was very happy in Brazil, and then the girl in Barcelona I dated that was Colombian, I would have been fine with just being with only her. I completely understand that. I will say that here is like watching a 007 movie. They literally have this exoticness to them that you're just like, what the, like almost that. I think that we might have written them off because we didn't think it was real until you come here and you're like, yo, that's like every other girl here. And when you realize that's real, then it kind of takes a different stance, if that makes sense.
That's true.
Because I think like the girls that we see that are models on TV and they're famous, when you come to a place where that level of beauty and aesthetics is natural every day, like you look at a billboard and you look at the girl sitting here might actually be hotter than the girl on the billboard here. I think when you're around that, it takes a different toll. Just like, I don't know what level girls you've dated. I'm assuming because you've got some status, you've got some money, that your girls have gotten better, right? When you get in the 9-10 range, it is like going from D1 to the NFL, right? It's a whole different game. Like they have more access, they have more people talk to them, they've got money from whoever they want. It's like you have to be bigger, faster, stronger to date 9s and 10s, right? That's and so you have to speak a different language. And that's why I think maybe a lot of people aren't in that 9s and 10s world, because you have to speak a different language. You have to understand that like the bitchiness that a hot girl has is a filter, right? She's not really a bitch. She doesn't want to be a bitch. It's a filter, because how does she get through the 450 DMs a day she gets? So that's her fastest filter.
Speaking of that, how is the dating apps out there? Is it pretty?
I mean, it took a while. I'm doing okay. One of the crazy things here is they don't like to, they're not social media type. So they don't like to show their faces too much. But like, this is just a regular girl on Tinder. 40 years old. That's pretty good. Do you know what I'm saying? Let me right swipe that real quick. Yeah, this girl's what, 43? So that guy that was asking like 30, 40, this girl's 41.
That makeup be so serious nowadays. You don't know how these women be looking.
Well, but I see them in the gym. They actually just get the plastic surgery here, so they actually look like that. Like this girl here, this is what a 21-year-old looks like here. Yeah, so
are they matching with the bros pretty heavy, or it's just?
Yes, they will. The problem is dealing with the people around them. Does that make sense? So what'll throw you off is she'll go to the restaurants with you, she'll come over, everything's cool. It's when the brothers and the mom and dad, she don't like them finding out they have this problem. Does that make sense? But I know Gisela, and I ask her all the time, and she's like, it's not as much of a black thing as you think. They want you to marry who they pick, period. She says it's almost like, what's that, arranged? And she's like, the family will almost turn against you if you don't. And that's just weird to me. Do you know what I'm saying? That's just strange to me. But I follow a Balkan page. It's like called Balkan Comedy. And it shows this one skit where it's like when you finally just give in to your parents and agree to marry the guy they want you to marry. So like that's their thing. There is some funny stuff too where they're saying, you know, this is you assuming the position when you're dating an Albanian guy, and they show her standing like this or like getting on the ground like this, meaning like, you know, he's a dealer type thing. But I don't think it's for everybody, bro. I think you have to be really comfortable with yourself. You have to be really, really comfortable for yourself. And if you've been to a place like Brazil and come here, you're gonna hate it, because Brazilians, like, you can't sit by yourself. They're gonna be like, oh, are you on holiday? Are you by yourself? Oh, you can't be by yourself. Come hang out with us. And then when you sit at your table, then they're like, oh, we're going samba. Come to samba. And after samba, they're like, oh, come to a rooftop. Like, it's a whole different world. But here's a little bit of my sale on that, okay? When you get through the outer shell, that woman that we dream of having, that's who they are, all of them. Nice. And it feels beautiful. It feels beautiful. Like they're affectionate, they listen, they talk to you, then they're smart, they hear what you say. You're allowed to be a man. You don't have to be perfect. You can get upset sometimes. You can kick a chair over and they're fine. Do you know what I'm saying? It's not about money like we're afraid of. When they say that they're materialistic here, it's not what we think materialistic is. What we think materialistic is that girl that's like, you got to make 6 figures. You got to buy me a Birkin bag. You can't take me to Chipotle or whatever. Here, that's not the case. If you are independent and can sustain yourself, and you have a home, they consider that materialistic. We don't consider that. We consider that being an adult. But to them who still live with their families until they get married, the guys are going to label that as materialistic. Do you see what I'm saying? If you have a car and you have a house. Where we come from, that's very normal. But it's going to be, our mentality is hard to break.
Okay. All right. Well, once again, bro, this is a very classic stream, bro. We got to do this again next time. I don't think it was too many dark things necessarily about Albania, but he just kept it real. And we definitely appreciate that. You know, it's European.
You're not worried about the mafia stuff?
I mean, I don't really plan on doing no business out there. So, you know, they probably won't be dealing with them too tough for the most part.
Well, okay. I think it was how much you have to be careful around the girls. I think that's a very dangerous place for our particular demographic.
Oh, okay. Well, guys, you better watch out, man. Yeah. You better watch out.
Just make sure you know she's single. That's it. Just make sure you know she's single. And if she's with a man, it doesn't matter if it's her brother, her dad, whatever. Do not speak to her. Do not do it. That's it.
All right, man. Great show.
All right, man. Good talking to you. Sorry, I'm still in Albania, so I don't have much new information from traveling. But if I head out there to Thailand, I'll holla at you. Well, I got to go back out there pretty soon to get my passport. So I might be like, what's good?
Oh, yeah, for sure, man. We'll definitely chop it up. All right, peace.
All right, deuce.
All right, peace.
How do I hang up?